Do African Economies Justice? Are they fair to them? Well, this is why experts attending the African Peer Review Mechanisms Forum on Credit Rating Agencies in Africa are looking for ways that African rating agencies can play a bigger part in rating African economies. Currently, Fitch, Moody's and Standard & Poor's are the only three big ratings agencies that rate sovereigns and state-owned companies on the continent.
Confidence in the work of international rating agencies in Africa is very low. Many African governments are puzzled that in spite of their notching up exceptionally high growth levels, credit rating agencies are not giving them better sovereign ratings. And the issue of establishing a credible agency that will be viewed in a serious light as the ones that already exist could be a challenge.
Credibility is a function of time. And the users of this information, I think their response is not or will not be surprising. It's something expected, but what we are pushing, or our major thrust is on having the information out there on what we think is a fair reflection of what Africa really is.
Lower credit ratings mean African countries have to borrow at higher costs. This is because funders believe, based on the low ratings, they are at greater risk of default.
Africa is not a poor continent that has been, touted around all over the place. And the view that we are poor creates the impression that we need help. And how do we get the help? We get the help by going elsewhere to seek for funding and to seek for resources and etc. At the same time, these same agencies are, busily, getting resources out of the continent.
The African Peer Review Mechanism says it's important to get the ball rolling, but there has to be a desire for governments to act.
And the biggest intake that we received today is the willingness from representation from different states, coming from different places from the continent, willing to be taking actions right now in terms of going forward with the work that comes with international credit rating agencies.
Africa has rating agencies, but competing with the three which are more than 100 years old may prove to be a challenge.
As domestic capital markets pick up, develop, we have more and more transactions, more and more activity in local currencies across Africa. We will see more activity and more focus on African rating agencies as well. So it's very much a question of the perspective of the investors, the users of the ratings, but we think that there are rating agencies in Africa, local rating agencies, that are doing well and they've been established for years.
Standard & Poor's, Moody's and Fitch are still trying to repair their reputations following the collapse of Lehman Brothers. These agencies are criticized for not only failing to warn investors of the dangers of investing in many of the mortgage-backed securities at the epicenter of the financial crisis, but benefiting by not pointing out deficiencies. This fact is likely to haunt the three agencies as conversations about their role in Africa's growth story intensifies. Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg.